everybody, it's Miss Stephanie and it's time for another Friday Family Storytime. It's our last one before we come back in person. I'm super excited to see you back at the library. Me and Miss Linda are ready to read stories with you. Do go on our website because registration is required. You can find registration on the library's website for story times on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Bilingual story time, baby story time, and family story time on Fridays. So we hope to see you soon at the library. Are you ready to read some stories today, though? We should start by warming up our hands and getting ready to clap with our friends. Are you ready? Story time is starting, clap your hands. Story time is starting, clap your hands. Story time has begun. I hope that you have fun. Story time is starting, clap your hands. What else should we do? Let's jump today. It means when I jump, I'm going to jump off the camera because I'm going to jump really high. You try to jump at home too, okay? Story time is starting, jump up high. Story time is starting, jump up high. Story time's begun. I hope that you have fun. Story time is starting, jump up high. Woohoo! Did you jump at home? That was pretty fun. And I feel ready to read. I hope you feel ready to read. I have some nice books to share with you today. Last week was so cold, but today it's nice out. And I found this book today. It's called Lulu and Rocky in Rocky Mountain National Park, which is not far from here at all. Maybe you've had a chance to visit it, or maybe you will visit it soon. And when the weather's really nice, I think about visiting there. So I thought I would share it with you today. There's a cool map in the front of the book. And you can see elk and bighorn sheep and bald eagle and some bears and trout. It's really cool. It says, a purple envelope arrives. There's a letter. Let's read the letter. Dear Rocky, are you ready for an adventure? Meet Lulu Pufferson and your guide Henry in Estes Park, Colorado at the Stanley Hotel, which is possibly haunted, it says. Head for Rocky Mountain National Park the next day from Aunt Fancy. Wow, that's a cool letter. I pack the good stuff. Binocular, rain poncho, compass, water bottle, trail mix, and flashlight. Oops. And also some clean underwear. Lulu's my cousin and best friend. Look, there's the Stanley Hotel. That's so cool. At the Stanley Hotel, I look around for Lulu and watch out for ghosts. Ooh, is that a ghost? Boo! No, it's Lulu. Pufferson winks hello and Henry shakes my hand. Well now, Rocky in the Rockies. Isn't that something? We text a picture to Aunt Fancy, our Rocky Mountain gang. And if you look closely, there's someone hiding in that picture. A spooky ghost. The next day we head for Rocky Mountain National Park. First stop, Cub Lake. Cub Lake Trail. I smell butterscotch cookies, says Lulu. That's the Ponderosa Pine, says Henry. Butterscotch makes me hungry, so I chow down on trail mix and spy through my binocular. What's that? I ask Henry. Henry laughs. It's an Ebert squirrel. Some people call it a squabbit because it looks like both a squirrel and a rabbit. Can you see it down there? After our hike, we check into the Moraine Park campground and find our campsite, our home away from home. Everyone pitches in. Next up, giddy up, we explore the park Western style. Pufferson rides with me because he can't reach the stirrups. And then I spy it, an elk, which is towering tall with giant fuzzy antlers that look like a crown. I take a picture for Aunt Fancy. King of the Rockies. Maybe we should make ourselves some elk horns. Big elk horns like that. Or maybe they're really big and they stand up really tall. Did you see the elk in the picture? There he is. Near Moraine Park Discovery Center, we hear rumble. Let's head inside for the show, Henry says. We snuggle up in rocking chairs and watch storm clouds roll over the mountains. Lightning crackles in the sky. Then the rain starts, fast and furious. Henry explains how junior rangers help the park. You learn about the park, explore it, and protect it, leaving the park just as you found it for everyone to enjoy. You can see the storm outside. Wow. We want to be Junior Rangers. We pick up our Junior Ranger activity booklets and head for our campsite, breathing in the rain-washed air. We check off the things we've seen today in our booklets and roast hot dogs and toast s'mores over the campfire. Well, that sounds fun. Then we hear coyotes singing, "Yip yip howl!" We sing back, "This land is your land, this land is my land." Henry wakes us up before the sun. We get to Glacier Creek just as the sun cracks the sky. We fish for trout and catch a rainbow. Then we take the Glacier Gorge trailhead to Alberta Falls. I yell, "Holy Falls Holy!" But no one can hear me because the water is thundering so loudly. We jump in a Jeep and head for Horseshoe Park. The river winds through a meadow and there are flowers everywhere. It's pretty. Colorado loco, western wallflower, and blanket flower, also hummingbirds, bees, and butterflies. A herd of bighorn sheep nibble the hillside. Then we sit down, close and all together, and let the sun melt on our faces. We're in the middle of awesome, Lulu says. We hurry to our campsite before the mountain swallows the sun. We watch the stars pop one by one till the sky is freckled with stars. There's the Milky Way. We see a flash of light sweep across the sky. Ooh, and then another ah. Then more and more like fireworks. Meteor showers, says Henry. We applaud. And that's a pretty picture. On the last day, we hike around Bear Lake Trail. That's a popular trail. Then we stop. Whoa, snow-capped mountains reflected in the lake. That's Long's Peak, says Henry, pointing to the tallest snowy mountain. The one in front is called Half Mountain. He flips quarters into our hands. Look familiar? Ha! The same scene is on the back of the Colorado Corridor. I didn't even know that. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Then we hit the road, Old Fall River Road. Hang on, Henry says, firing up the Jeep. We bump over switchbacks and hairpin turns in the thrills and chills roller coaster ride of a lifetime. Higher up, the trees are twisted and short, and after a while there are no trees at all. Henry says, this is an alpine tundra. The summer's too short and the wind is too strong for trees to grow. At the top, we hike the Alpine Ridge Trail. It's cold and super windy. And if I spread my arms, I think I might be able to fly. What are those? Lulu asks. Marmots, Henry says. One stands guard and whistles a warning if danger is near. We see cool rocks and flowers, but we never pick the flowers and we never take the rocks. We leave the park just as we find it because that's what Junior Rangers do. At the Alpine Visitor Center, we choose souvenirs. Junior Ranger vests for me and Lulu and a Junior Ranger hat for Pufferson. Are you in there, Pufferson? The Rangers signs our Junior Ranger activity booklets. We recite the official pledge and she hands us our badges. Then we stand tall and proud as she announces, attention everybody, we have new Junior Rangers here, and everyone applauds. Now we're at the top of the world. We shout thank you to Aunt Fancy. Then we shout goodbye to Rocky Mountain National Park. Goodbye to the storms and stars, squabbits and sheep, hairpin turns and thundering falls. We shout goodbye to the Rockies. And the Rockies answer back. Isn't that cool? Have you ever heard your echo in the mountains? Very cool. And then there's some end matter at the back. Tells you a little bit more about Rocky Mountain National Park and its history and the Stanley Hotel, if you're interested in that. I hope you enjoyed that book. I really liked it. We don't read many nonfiction books. This is a nonfiction book title in our collection, which is kind of cool. All right, you guys, let's see what we have next. Maybe we should read Olu and Greta by Diana Edaita. Let's see. It's really pretty. I love all the colors, the end papers. Everything is really beautiful. This is Olu. This is Greta. There's Olu in his room. There's Greta in her room. They're cousins. Olu lives near Lagos City. The largest city in Nigeria, in Africa. Greta lives in Milan, a city in Italy, in Europe. Olu and Greta live far, far away from each other. They have never met each other in person. How would they? They live far away. You can see up here, oops, Milan, and Lagos is way down there. And we're way over here. It's pretty far. They cannot get to one another by walking. They cannot get to one another by skating. They cannot get to one another by parade. They cannot get to one another by spaceship. They cannot get to one another by dancing. They cannot get to one another by flying, though both have wings. Could they get there by car, by boat, by plane? Yes, but not today. Today they will send pieces of their lives to one another instead. I'm going to send it in the mail. And talk to each other on the computer. You can see their laptops. And dream of adventures in another place. Maybe you have cousins that live far away. Here they are. Do you visit with your family sometimes on the computer? I thought that was really nice. Okay, you guys. I have a few more books. This one is pretty funny. It's called Negative Cat. And it's written and illustrated by Sophie Blackall, and I'm excited to share it with you. Can you make a good cat sound like meow? Can you make some whiskers? Meow. Maybe you have a cat at your house. I don't have a cat. On day 427 of asking for a cat. Cat? 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 Meow? Milk? Cat? My parents finally gave in. Please? Okay. You have to feed it and clean out the litter. Also keep your room tidy and write to your grandma and read for 20 minutes every day. It better not have fleas, says his sister. Ugh, I'm not so great at reading words, only make sense when I read them out loud slowly. And the kids at school stare and laugh at me, but I agree to the rules before my parents change their minds. So he's willing to do that reading work because he really wants a cat. I'm getting a cat. I'm getting a cat. I'm getting a cat. There are 1 million cats in the rescue shelter. Can you see them? And I want to take them all home, but Mom says only one. Then I find him. The name on the cage is Pookie, but that is no name for this cat. This cat is Maximilian Augustus Xavier, and we all call him Max. When we get home, I am excited to show Max his bed and his scratching post and his litter tray and the scent of the sea frisky bits, but he is not excited. The next day I surprise Max with a toy mouse. He is not surprised. I tickle him with a feather. He is not ticklish. I tell him all my best jokes, and he doesn't even smile. At school, my friends go on about how excellent their cats are. Their cats are. Camilla can wear her cat like a scarf. Jack's cat can fetch a stick. Emilio's cat has its own Instagram. My cat stares at the wall. He's kind of negative, your cat. There he is looking at the wall. On the weekend, Dad lets Max have the best part of the paper. Uncle Dave knits him a sweater. Mom lets him borrow her shoes. In return, Max leaves hairballs on the rug, his tail in the butter, and poop in the vestibule. He eats the flowers and deletes my email to Grandma. That cat. Everyone is mad at Max. He doesn't even purr. I'm calling the shelter. We should have gotten a dog. And then they're mad at me. Your room is a mess. He hasn't been reading. Have you even written to Grandma? I still love you, Max. When the lady from the shelter comes, Max and I hide in my room. The grown-ups talk on and on and on. Blah, blah, blah. Commitment. Blah, blah, blah. Responsibility. Blah, blah, blah. Negative. I have an idea. It's our only hope. I tidy my room in record time. I reach for a book. I take a deep breath. I begin to read slowly, out loud, the only way I know how. Max stares, but he doesn't laugh. I turn the page. Max inches closer and closer and closer. He tucks his head under my arm. I stay perfectly still and read and read. Right to the very end of the book. The lady from the shelter says Max and I should come and read to all the cats to cheer them up. So we do. Now my whole class comes every Tuesday and we all read out loud, fast or slow, however we like. The cats are happy, the lady at the shelter is happy, and the parents are happy. Sort of. Can we please get a cat? 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 All the kids are asking their parents for cats. And that's the end. But at the back, it talks about how this is based on sort of a true story. It's a mashup of various stories about a cat, a real cat they had, and then a story from an animal shelter somewhere in Pennsylvania where kids were reading to cats. It's a mashup of those two stories, so that's kind of cool. Well, I really like that. Let's give our whiskers one more lick. Clean our face. Oh, I know a song about this. Let's sing a song about taking a bath, but we're going to have to do it like cats, okay? So it goes like this. This is the way we wash our face, wash our face, wash our face. I don't have to wash it like a cat. This is the way we wash our face so early in the morning. What else should we do? Should we brush our whiskers? This is the way we brush our whiskers, brush our whiskers, brush our whiskers. This is the way we brush our whiskers so early in the morning. Should we could clean our paws, but we'll have to do it like a cat with your tongue. This is the way we clean our paws. Clean our paws, clean our paws. This is the way we clean our paws so early in the morning. Good singing. Are you ready for another story? I have one more great book for you, and it's called The Little Wooden Robot and the Log Princess. And it's written and illustrated by Tom Gauld. It's so cute, you guys. There once lived a king and queen who happily ruled a pleasant land, but they had no children. So one night the king went to see the royal inventor, and the queen went to see a clever old witch who lived in the woods. They both asked for the same thing, for a child. The inventor set to work straight away. She used her finest tools and her most ingenious designs, and she built a wonderful, intricate little wooden robot. And there he is. The witch took a log from the basket by her fire and used her deepest magic to bring the wood to life in the form of a perfect little log princess. And there she is. The king and the queen and the princess and the robot all loved each other instantly. The log princess was bold and clever, but she had a secret. Each night, When she fell asleep, she turned back into a log and would stay like that until she was woken by the magic words. Awake, little log, awake. The little wooden robot was brave and kind, so kind in fact that he let a family of beetles nest in his workings, even though it tickled sometimes. Every day the robot would wake his log sister and they would play in the castle and the gardens until the sun went down and they were tired out. However, one morning a traveling circus came to visit and the robot rushed down to the courtyard without waking his sister. On the stairs he passed a maid going up to tidy the princess's bedroom. When the maid saw the log, she said, "Oh dear, a plain old log lying in the princess's bed. What a disgrace!" And she threw it out the window. At that very moment, the little robot thought of his sister. "How selfish of me," he said to himself. "She's missing out on all these wonderful things." And he ran to her bedroom to wake her up. He looked at the empty bed in horror. "Where's the log?" he cried. "Oh, that," said the maid. "I threw it out the window." The robot looked out and spied the log rolling across the courtyard. There you can see it rolling down the hill. He raced down, but the castle was atop a steep hill, and the log had rolled through the gate, over the drawbridge, and down toward the village. A goblin was pushing a barrow of logs through the village, and the princess log rolled right up to him. "What a lucky day," he said. "Another fine log for my load." The goblin took the logs to the river where a barge was tied up. The captain paid him a copper coin, and his barrow load was tipped into the barge with hundreds and hundreds of other logs. The robot ran to the barge. "Please, sir," he said to the captain, "my special log is in your barge. May I come aboard and search for it?" "You may," said the captain, "but we must set sail straight away while the wind is right." So the robot clambered on, and the barge set off for the frozen north. They sailed for days, but there were so many logs that even with the help of the crew, the little wooden robot could not find the right one. They arrived and unloaded the cargo. Just making sure I didn't miss a page. They arrived and unloaded the cargo. "Come back with us," said the captain. "The north is a dangerous place, and we can easily find you another log when we get home." "I can't," said the robot. "That log is the most precious thing in the world to me, and I won't leave without it." So the crew gave him a map, some supplies, and a handcart, and sailed back to the pleasant land where our story began. There we go. The night was long and cold. The little wooden robot shivered as he searched. Then something caught his eye, something familiar. He reached into the pile and pulled out a log. It was the princess. He danced for joy with the log in his arms and was about to recite the magic words when he realized how awful it would be for his poor sister, who had fallen asleep in her cozy little bed, to wake here, freezing and far from home. So he put her into the handcart, tucked a blanket around her, and took up the handle and began to walk home. Along the way, he had too many adventures to recount here. The giant's key, the family of robbers, the old lady in a bottle, the magic pudding, the lonely bear, the queen of the mushrooms. But each left him more exhausted than the last. His joints became stiff and his cogs and gears wore down until one day he could go no further. With the last of his strength, he said the magic words, woke the princess, and told her what had happened, how it was all his fault, and that he understood that she would probably never forgive him. "Oh, brother," she said, "how silly of you to keep all these worries to yourself. Of course I forgive you." She helped him into the handcart, where he fell into a deep sleep. She took the map and the handle of the cart and continued to walk home. She, too, had many adventures. The mischievous pixies, the dragon's egg, the feuding hunters, the haunted well, the enormous blackbird, the baby in the rose bush. The princess knew that whatever happened, however tired she felt, she must not fall asleep. But one night, as she was trudging through a dark forest, which she was sure couldn't be that far from home, she began to yawn. And then she yawned some more, and her eyes felt heavy, and her legs felt tired, and she thought of her cozy little bed in the castle. "Perhaps I shall close my eyes just for a moment," she said, and with that she fell asleep, and pop! Turned into a log. Uh-oh. The king and queen missed their children terribly. Soldiers had been sent searching in every direction, and a huge reward had been offered, but it was no good. The queen would not leave her bed, and the king sat alone in a tower, staring out at the deep, dark forest. Little did he know that in the forest was a clearing, and in that clearing was a handcart, and in the handcart was a little wooden robot, and in that robot's worn-out, broken-down workings, a family of beetles was wondering why everything was so still and so quiet. They climbed out and looked at the log and the robot and knew that they must do something. So they stopped a passing mouse and asked her for help, and she asked a bird, who asked a rabbit, who asked a fox, and they all worked together to take the princess and the robot to the nearest house, and it was the home of a clever old witch. The witch recognized the pair immediately. She woke the princess, repaired the robot, and set off for the castle. The king could hardly believe his eyes as he watched the little group, all crowded onto a broomstick, fly over the forest, set down in the castle courtyard. They're home. The robot and the princess and the queen and the king all hugged and laughed and cried. The witch was thanked. The month was declared a holiday for the whole kingdom. The beetles were each given a tiny golden medal, and they lived happily ever after. And that's the end. Did you like that? That might be my favorite one. Little wooden robot and the log princess. Well, that's it, my friends. It was fun reading books with you today. I will see you next time back at the library.